Okay, good evening. So in yesterday's class, we have seen about comments, statements, and indentation. So in today's class, we are going to see about, first I will tell you about versions of Python. Later, I will tell you about identifiers in Python. Okay, and also we will discuss today about keywords in Python. So today I'm going to discuss these three concepts. So first, let us go for versions. So if we are going for any programming languages, there will be a versions. First version, second version, third version, and so on. Okay. Here also in Python, we are having different versions we are having. So first version of Python is Python 1.0. Okay. Next, after 1.0 and 1.9 and so on, we got Python 2.0. We are having a Python 2.0. And we are having now third version. So it is third version. Okay, so now we are in third version in 3.8.5. okay, so the concept is Python 1.0 version came into existence in January 1994. In the same way, Python 2.0 came into existence in October 2000. Okay, now whatever we are using, that is third version, came into existence in December 2008. December 2008. Now we are in which version? 3.8.5. We know how to check the version of our Python, as we have seen in our previous sessions. Python -- version. So we can see here Python 3.8.5, whatever the version we are using, and the latest version is also a Python 3.8.5. So here I want to tell you some points about this Python 2.0 and 2.3. Till 2019 we are having the concept of Python 2.0. In 2020 we are not having the Python 2.0. So if we are going to consider any other programming languages, for example Java, so from 1.1 version onwards, 1.10 up to 1.10, whatever the functions or whatever the methods, whatever the classes we are using in previous versions will be supported by the newer versions. That means, for example, in Java we are having, for example, 1.6. So whatever the functions we are having, whatever the methods, whatever the classes we are having in 1.6 can be used in 1.7, no problem. What is the new things here? Here some additional things are added, some additional classes. For example, I'm going to consider classes. Some additional classes are added. That is the difference between 1.6 and 1.7, for example. So but here, when compared to Python 2.0 and Python 3.3 version, here Python third version is not going to give the support for Python 2.0. Here 1.7 is, for example, here I'm going to consider this 1.7 version. So 1.7 version is giving support to 1.6 version. That means whatever the programs we have written in 1.6 version can also be executed in 1.7 version. But when compared to Python 2.0, whatever the programs we have written in Python 2.0 may not execute in Python 3.0. But don't worry, we are not having the concept of Python 2.0, so no need of understanding about Python 2.0. So now we are having Python 3.0. So just I want to give you an information that up to 2019 we are having Python 2.0. So Python 3.0 is not going to give support to Python 2.0. okay, like other programming languages. So other programming languages will give support to the previous versions, but our Python is not going to give the support to the previous versions. Okay, this is about a versions, but don't worry, we are not having any confusion between Python 2.0 and 3.0 because we are not having the concept of Python 2.0 version now. But if you see in 2019, while going to download this Python third version, beside that one or above or below, we are having the version called as 2.0 also, but now only it shows only third version. Okay, anyway, so this is about versions we have to observe. Next, let us see an important concept, that is identifiers. So before going to start any programming language, we have to understand about identifiers. Reason is, in our programming language, everywhere we are going to use the identifiers only. So compulsory, we should understand what is meant by an identifier and where we are going to use these identifiers and how the identifier should be there. Okay, so I will give you a small example before going to give going to this identifiers. So I will tell you. See here, for example, I am going to take, for example, okay, for example, I am taking, don't worry about these drawings, right? Here, let us consider, okay, okay. For example, I am considering what is this object? This is called as what? Cycle, for example. Okay. So that means what? For everything we are having in our real world also, for each and everything we are having what? Some name. So for this one, we are going to name it as a what? Cycle. For example, one more thing I am going to take, for example, here, some fruit, for example, apple. That means what? Here, if I see this one, to identify this one, I am going to use an identifier. What is the name of that identifier? What is that identifier? Apple. So to identify this one, I am using some identifier called as what? Cycle. That means what? To identify anything in real world, we are going to use an identifier. For example, if we are going to any class, there are 60 students, for example. To identify each student, we are going to have some identifiers. Those identifiers are nothing but what? Names. Okay, so compulsory, if you are going to use any programming language, you should understand about an identifiers. So here, according to our Python or any programming language, what is meant by an identifier means it is a name used to identify any entity. It is a name, okay, it is a name used to identify any entity. So what is meant by an entity? For example, in our Python, what is meant by entity means it may be variable. It may be to identify a variable. I am going to use an identifier. Next, it may be a function. It may be a class, or it may be any other thing. It may be a module, and so on. That means to identify anything in Python, we have to use the concept of what? Identifiers. Okay, right. It is a name used to identify any entity. Okay, I am going to give you some examples for this identifier before going to see the rules. So here I am going to take one variable. I'm going to take one variable a equal to 10. See here, to store 10 value inside a memory, I'm going to use a name called as a. If I call a, automatically it is going to give me what? 10 value. So here I'm going to take b as 20, for example. So if I print b, it is going to give me what? 20. That means the name which is given for this 20 is what? B. Next, I will take one function and I will show you. Okay, right now see, for example, void hi we are having. Here I am going to print hi. So now I want to use this function. What is the function name here we are having? Hi. The name of the function is hi. So whenever I want to use that function, compulsory I have to call it by using its name, which is nothing but an identifier. To identify this function, how to identify this function? By using this name called as hi. So now I want to print hi. So which function I have to call? Hi function I have to call. So I have to use an identifier. This is nothing but what? Name of a function. So it is nothing but an identifier. So if I execute this program, what you are going to get? 1 minute. So sorry, it is a Java. So generally here in Python we are having def. Okay, right. So now see, we are going to get what? Hi. That means what? Compulsory to identify anything in our Python, we have to use a concept of identifier. So identifier is nothing but what? Name of anything. Here identify, this is what? Name of a function. Can I call this one as an identifier? Yes, it is an identifier. Okay, this is one example. Right, now let us see the rules of identifiers. So compulsory, these rules has to be there for identifiers. If you are using other than these rules, for example, if you are not following these rules, you may get the errors. You may get errors. We will see those errors also. Okay, so now, so what is the need of keeping a rules? So there should be some rules. For example, here I am going to take two persons. For example, I am taking, okay, here this is a, what I can say, girl. Here the name of this boy is this is boy and this is girl, for example. Okay, here I am taking the name of a boy as Sirisha, for example, and here the name of the girl is Krishna, for example. See here, generally, will we place the name of a boy as Sirisha? Generally, no, generally we will not place. Okay, so generally for a girl, for example, we are not going to place as a Krishna. That means what? We are following, humans are following some rules for naming. Okay, we are having some rules for naming. That means what? If we are having a name called as Sirisha, it should be placed only for the girls only, for example. That means we are following some rules. So that in the same way, for our identifiers in Python, we are having some rules. So let us see what are those rules. Okay, right. First rule is, first rule I am going to tell you what are the different type of characters that can be used in our, used as an identifiers. So first one, identifier can be combination of. That means what? If you are going to write any identifier, it can be small a to z. These are the rules. Compulsory, only these things has to be used. Capital A to Z, or any numbers that is from 0 to 9. 0 to 9. Or we can also have only special character that is allowed in Python is underscore. Very important, because when we are going to consider any other programming language, there in C and C++ and Java also we can use underscore and dollar. But in Python we can only use the combination of small lowercase a to z and also uppercase a to z and 0 to 9, and also only one special character, that is what? Underscore. Okay, this is the first point you have to understand. That means I'm going to consider one small for this I'm going to take some examples. Okay, see here. So what can is I use? Lowercase I can use, so lowercase I can use. So see, is it valid or not? Yes, it is valid. We are not going to get any error here. So small letters are valid. I will take capital A, for example. So we are going to get what? It is valid thing. It is not going to give any error. So capital letters also, or uppercase is also allowed. Now if I am going to consider numbers, okay, one important point I will tell you about the numbers. So now I am not going to explain about numbers. Now I will take underscore number 1, for example. So let us take this one as an identifier. So see, it is a valid. Okay, so to print that number 1 value, it is a valid one. Underscore can be used. Okay, these are the different examples we can take for identifiers to show the combination. That means what? Here lowercase are used, here lowercase, here uppercase, here underscore used. So I want to give you one more, that is what? Combination of combination with numbers also. So 20, it is also valid. Okay, right. So you get the value. Now I will show you second point. Second point is, numbers can be combined with in identifiers, but number should not be first character. Okay, number should not be first character of the identifier. Very important point. We can use identifiers, sorry, we can use numbers in an identifier, but it is not allowed as a first character. Number is not allowed as a first character in the identifier. So let us see whether it is working or not. So here I have used number 1. 1 is used in my identifier, in my name. Okay, I will try to write one identifier by writing what? 1 in the first. See what it is going to give you? invalid syntax. So the same program I will write in my file, so you can understand clearly. There you will get a clear error. So I am going to take 1 ABC equal to 20. I am saving this one and I'm executing by using a command prompt. Okay, see. Okay. So see, you are going to get what? Syntax error. Okay, invalid syntax. That means what? Here something is wrong. What is that wrong? One should not be written as first character of the identifier. So if I execute this one, or if I execute here itself also, we are going to get the output. Program is successfully compiled. Here I have not printed anything, so that it is not going to print anything. Now, sir, names means only why you are showing always variables. Take some other thing. Okay, I'm going to take, for example, function. Function name is, for example, I'm going to take 1 high, for example. Is it a valid identifier? No, it is not a valid identifier. Reason is what? For an identifier, we cannot place first character as numbers. Okay, see, it is going to show you what? Invalid syntax. So otherwise, here also you can execute that one. So here it is going to show you what? Invalid syntax, and it is clearly pointing that where you are going to get the error. Okay, right. This is second rule you can observe. Next, okay, third rule is not third rule. I will tell you about the special characters. So what is the special character you can use? What I have told you that only underscore. Sir, if I try to use any other special characters, for example, dollar I am using equal to 30. Is it valid or zero? Anything? Is it valid? Not valid, because see, it is highlighting here also red color. It is invalid syntax, because what is the reason? We can use only underscore. If you want to use any special character in an identifier, it should be only underscore. Let us take one more thing. At the rate I will take. At the rate. Is it possible? Cannot assign to an operator. Okay. So it is not possible. At the rate is also not possible. Next, if you are going to consider, so here, see here, two different errors are there. Here it is what? Invalid syntax. Here it is cannot assign to an operator, because it here at the rate is going to be used in decorators. In our concept is the decorators concept. There we are going to use this one. When we go to that concept, we can understand. Okay, anyway, here in identifiers we should not use this symbol. If you are going to use any other symbol, it is not possible. For example, CA hash. For example, I'm going to take CA hash. Is hash is possible to take? It is not possible. So see, name CA is not defined. So here I'm going to use what? CA hash. Hash is some predefined thing, predefined symbol. So it cannot be used. So if you consider here what? Dollar is invalid syntax. Here at the rate already known by Python, but it should not be assigned here. In the same way, hash also is known by our Python. So here it should not be used. So we are getting different errors here. Anyway, next, third point is, sorry, third rule is, here our Python is case sensitive. Case sensitive. Case sensitive means what? Capital A is different from small a. That means what? Here we can distinguish between capital A and small a. So I will show you that. Okay. See here, I'm going to consider one value, that is number equal to 10. Here all are small letters. Next one, what? I'm going to take one capital letter. First letter is capital letter. Okay. 20 I'm going to consider. Next I'm going to consider some other all capital letters. Okay, all capital letters. Next one I'm going to consider mixed of small letters and capital letters, for example. So now you can understand what here everything in if you know only English, you can understand what all are same. But if I ask you number, what you are going to give as an output? Here 4 are numbers only. So if I ask you number, you cannot give exact value. That means what? Ambiguity state in your mind, but your Python interpreter can understand because here our Python is what? Case sensitive. So here all are small letters. So if you ask about all small letters, it is going to give you 10. If you ask about a number with starting capital letter, it is going to give you 20. In the same way, all capital letters 40. In the same way, in this way, if you are going to give, it is going to print what? 50. So let us take first one here. Okay. Let us take first one. So output will be what? Output of this program will be what? It is going to give you 10, because what? You can observe here. Okay, you can observe here, I think. Otherwise, I'm going to execute the same program here. So see, what is the output here? You can observe 10. So now I'm going to change this one into capital N. Okay, I'm going to change this one as a capital N. What will be the answer? I am asking what is meant by capital N number. It is what? 20. So we are going to get what? 20. Okay, in the same way, that means what here? Everything is going to be identified by the identifier. Maybe that means our Python interpreter is going to distinguish between lowercase and uppercase. Okay, now I have written what? Capital number, all capital uppercase. So we are going to get 40. If you are going to write this one, what we are going to get? 50. Okay, so some people may get doubts, sir, why you are executing one at a time? If I execute all at a time, it is not going to be printed. No problem, it is going to be printed. So see here, if I'm going to use, for example, number, normal number. Next, if I'm going to use all capital letters, for example, all capital letters. Next one is what? Only first one is capital, remaining all are small, for example. Okay. Now see, all at a time I'm going to print. First one has to print it as what? This one 50. Next one 10, 20, 40. Okay, let us see that one. Okay. So see, 50, 10, 40, and 20. That means what? With this point, we can understand that Python is case sensitive, so that it is going to distinguish between small letter, that is lowercase and uppercase. Okay, that is a third rule. Next, let us go to fourth rule. That is what? Keywords are not allowed as an identifiers. Keywords are not allowed. What is meant by keywords? Keywords means already, or we can consider it as a reserved words. So whatever the words that are already defined in our Python, those words I cannot use as a identifier. I will show you. Already predefined something, some here what is there? I will take one predefined keyword, that is if. If is already known to the, what can I say, to the Python or for or anything. Already many things, 35 different keywords are there in our Python. So everything by default known by our Python. For example, if is there. If I try to take if equal to 20, is it a valid thing? It is not a valid thing. Okay, directly I will take in our interactive shell. 1 minute. Okay, see, here I am going to take directly if equal to 20. See what it is saying? Invalid syntax. So if I execute the same thing here, what it is going to show you? Invalid syntax. What is the reason why it is going to show invalid syntax? Because if is what? Predefined one. That is what? It is a keyword. So we cannot take keywords as an identifiers. So some people may get the doubt. I am going to change it as a capital I. So our Python knows only small I, small f. That means what? It knows only if with lower cases. If I write capital if, so see here, it will not show any error. It is going to give me, I am not going to print, I have not printed anything here. Just I will print if, small I, sorry, capital and f. So now if I execute this one, I am going to get what? 20. That means what? Keywords are, we cannot use keywords as an identifiers. So for example, I have taken only if we want to take for is also a keyword. So if I take for, see, keywords will be in yellow color. You can see, you can observe here. So automatically if I use for, what happens? It is going to give me what? Syntax errors, because I cannot use for as what? Identifier. You can observe here, syntax error. Okay. So if I want to use, for example, for, just change it as a capital. So it knows only what? Small lowercase for. If I change any one of the character, it is not a keyword. Okay. So in today's class, I will show you what are the different keywords that are present in Python also. Okay. So see, now it is valid. Okay. That means what? Keywords cannot be used as identifiers. Right. Now, last point. Oh, next. Okay, fifth point. One more point is the fifth point. That is, identifier can be of any length. That means some people may think that, sir, here just you are, every time you are using only one or two lines. For example, here you are using if. somewhere you are generally using what? A, B, C, D. How many characters? What can be the length of your identifier? You may get the doubt. So here my variable length can be any length. For example, I am going to take a variable length of identifier. For example, in this way, I'm going to take equal to 20. See here, what is the name of my identifier? I'm going to take something I have taken. If I want to use this one once again, what I have to take? Entire thing I have to write. See, you can take. See here, I'm going to just show you. I want to show you that we can take a large number of identifiers also. So you can observe here. If I execute this one, you're going to get the output, no problem. Sir, you have taken only 20, sir. I want to take some 100 or 1000, sir. Is it valid or not? Okay, let us see whether it is valid or not. So so on, I want to print. See, I'm going to print larger one. Okay. So what is the value of this larger one? 20. So see, I'm going to consider this one. And just if you want to use once again, or if you want to use that variable, once again you have to write everything. Just I'm going to copy and paste this one. Control S. If you execute this one, you are going to get the output, no problem. Length not matters here, but remember one thing here, we can take any length identifier, but it is not recommended to take an identifier length more than 15 characters or 20 characters. Reason is, if you are going to take any identifier with a long name or a long length, what happens means, once again, if you want to use that same identifier, it is not possible to remember. For example, here I have taken how many Ds? Can we identify or can we remember this word? I can't remember. Or if you are going to take lengthy identifier, it is unable to remember. So I am recommending that better not to take lengthy identifiers. Okay, that means it is not recommended. We can take any length, but not recommended. What is recommended? Only to take okay, not recommended to take identifier more than 15 characters. For example, more than 15 characters. Some people may think that, sir, is it invalid? No, it is valid. We can take, but it is not recommended. Better not to take, because if you take that thing, you cannot remember all those identifier characters. So I am not recommended. I am not recommending you to take a lengthy identifiers. Some people may get doubt that, sir, in some cases, for example, I want to add two numbers, sir. Okay, I want to add two numbers. So generally, as a starting programmer, what we will take? A equal to 10. Okay, generally what we will take? A equal to 10 and B equal to 20. Next what we will take? I'm going to take C equal to A plus B. Okay, and I'm going to take what? Print C. Is there any mistake in this program? I will see whether it is there or not. So I'm going to execute this program. Is there any mistake? No, nothing is there. So output is printed. But here, if the same program is sent to any other programmer, he will what he will think? What is this A? What is this B? And what is this C? He cannot understand. So better if you take in some convention. If you follow some convention, it will be good. That means what? This is number 1. That means that this is the first number. So it is what? Number 2. Then what? Number 1 and number 2 is added, and we are going to store in number 3. If you can take any convention, no problem. Okay, but if you follow some convention, it will be fine. That means what? If I give the same program to other user, he can understand. Okay, number 1 and number 2 is added here. Okay, number 1 plus number 2 is added here and stored in number 3. So naming conventions is better to keep what? Understandable and readable names for the identifiers. It is recommended. We can keep normal A, normal B, and so on, but it is recommended to keep descriptive names. For example, I want to take what? I want to fill an application form. I want to fill an application form. So first what I have to ask? Name. So name is what? Generally it is a string. So compulsory I have to ask as a name. If I ask him to enter N, what he can understand? If I tell n equal to Shiva, what he can, what is the Shiva? Is it a name or is it an object name? What is it? He cannot understand. Next one, I want to take the age of a Shiva. For example, for the age, I am going to take A equal to 31. For example, I am taking 31. So here, what he can understand, I am going to print name and age of a person. So here I am going to write n and I am going to write comma A. If I send the same program to the end user, what he can understand? What is meant by n? What is meant by a? He cannot understand. So that better write descriptive names. That means what? Which defines that variable or identifier, name and age. If I write in this way, what happens? He can understand easily. Okay, better write here name, age. It is recommended. But if you want to practice more number of programs, for practicing purpose, you can take small x, y or n, a, b and so on. You can do anything, no problem. But when we are going for what we can say real-time programming, better take descriptive names. Better not to take small identifiers which describes that identifier. Better to take entire name. So these are the different type of rules. And last rule we are having is what? Better you remember this one or not, it is not a big issue, because this point may not be seen in any of the textbooks. That is, class names can also be taken as identifiers. Okay, so this leads some confusion, so just remember this one. That means what? Already in our Python we are having some classes. So some people may not know about object oriented programming, so we will see what is meant by class later when we go for object oriented programming. For just now, just remember this point. So I will consider one class, that is what? Thread is a class in Python. I'm going to take thread equal to 12. So I'm going to print of thread. Now what happens? Will it shows any error or not? Let us check. See what? It is going to print the value. But if I write class names as an identifiers, the other programmer who is going to read your program may confuse. You can understand that thread, just I have taken this thread as an identifier variable name, you can understand. But if I send the same program to other Python programmer, what he knows, what is meant by thread? According to him, he knows that thread is what? A class. He cannot understand why he is writing class here. So better, it is not recommended to take class names as an identifier. So this rule is applicable but not recommended to use. Okay, not recommended. Okay, class names can also be taken as identifiers but not recommended. Okay, so what are the things that are not recommended? That is what, if you want to take any length we can take, but better to take only up to 15 characters, and also better not to take class names as an identifiers. If you take also, there is no problem, you will not get any errors, but is not recommended. Next, if you want to take any identifier, better write the identifier by using a descriptive names. That means what? Full names, for example. Okay, so these are the different type of rules that are applied to your identifiers. So once briefly I will explain. So your identifier can be what? If you are creating or if you are writing any name in Python, that is called as an what? Identifier. So if you are going to write any identifier, that identifier should contain only A to Z, small lowercase a to Z, uppercase a to Z, 0 to 9 and underscore. Okay, only these things, only these characters are allowed in our identifiers. Next, if you are going to consider an identifier, you can write anything as a first character except number. Number should not be a first character for the identifier or first letter for the identifier. And our Python is an case sensitive, so you can also use with the same name but different case the same character. For example, small n, capital R, different here. Your Python interpreter can distinguish between smaller, lowercase and uppercase. So keywords are not allowed as an identifiers. That means what? Already some 35 keywords are there in our Python. So those keywords, if you're trying to use as identifier, your Python interpreter is not going to allow. So you can take the length of an identifier of any length, but it is not recommended to take larger or lengthy identifiers. Better not to take more than 15 characters for an identifier. Next, if we consider class names, so class names can also be taken as identifiers, but if you take class names, you may lead to confusion. So better no, I am not going to recommend you to take class names as an identifiers. Okay, so these are the different rules are there for identifiers. So but if you see in our Python, we are having some naming conventions are there, some identifiers inbuilt, some different identifiers are there. So already I tell you what, I can use underscore. If you use underscore in this way, so in Python, we are having some meaning. If we are starting an identifier with what I can say underscore, that is what private. Remember this one just now for just listen this one. Later when we go to the concept of object oriented programming, there you can understand what are these. That means what internally your Python is going to consider this underscore AB as private. So it is having some naming convention. That means if you are going to use underscore as a first character, it is going to consider that identifier as private identifier or private variable. So in the same way, if you are going to consider if you are going to write double underscore 1 2 underscores for an identifier, according to our Python interpreter, it is what strongly private. So I'm not going to discuss about these things now, because just understand the these type of variables are there according to our interpreter, Python interpreter. So if you are going to write underscore something, for example, I'm going to take main. Okay, underscore. So according to our Python, these are what language specific identifiers. What are these? Language specific identifiers. Language specific. These are what? Language specific. Okay, right. These are the three things you have to observe. Okay, right. Some people may have that, sir. If I want to write a lengthy identifier, what I have to do? So see, the identifier name is, for example, I want to enter an address. For example, this is my identifier name. So better use underscores in between different words. I want to enter an address. So it is easy to read. Okay, equal to some Hyderabad, for example. Hyderabad. Sir, is it recommended? Yes, it is recommended. But can't I use without underscores? Yes, I can use. But better take underscores between the words so that it is easy to understand. Okay, right. So this is about rules of identifiers. Okay, right. Now let us see about next concept. So these are the rules you have to understand. Keywords. So compulsory before going to write a programming language, it may be any programming language, at least we should understand a basic keywords. Okay, so in our Python we are having some keywords. I will show you directly the list of keywords which you can see. But in other programming language, if you want to see keywords, we have to search in net or some textbooks. But here, just by typing a two statements, I can show you what are the list of identifiers we are having. Okay, right. Now see, so all keywords are present in a module, one module. Okay, the name of that module is keyword module. Import, I'm going to what? Import keyword. Oh, sorry, I have to go to Python. Okay, Python shell, or here I will go. Okay. Python, right. Here what I have to do, just I have to import a module called as don't worry about what is meant by import and all these things, later we will see. So import is a keyword, and keyword, see here, this import is a keyword. Keyword is what? Module name. If you want to see all the keywords that are present in our Python, just we have to import this module, and after that we have to type a field name called as keyword list, that is KW list. Enter. So see, it is going to show you many. 1 minute, right? Here it is going to show you a list of, I will copy this one and I will paste in separate notepad. So see, here there are many keywords are there. So total, okay, up to here we are having, okay, I will copy this one, okay, and I will paste it here. Oh, sorry. One minute. So these are the 35. These will be total how many? 35 keywords will be there total. Okay, anyway, don't worry, I will show you this list. Better take this one in Python shell so that it is easy to. Now here I will take import. What is that? Keyword. Import keyword. Here what I have to type? Keyword dot KW list. So see, here you can observe. So how many are there total? Let us see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. This one 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. Total how many are there? 35 keywords are there. But in 3.6 we are having only 33 keywords. Okay. Now we are at 3.8. So that we are having how many keywords? 35 keywords. To see the keywords we have to type what? Import keyword. We have to import a module called as keyword, and next what we have to do? Keyword dot KW list, so that we can see keywords that are present in Python. So here in all these keywords, I will show you the small difference. In all these keywords, you can observe clearly that all will be in same way, except two things. Those are true and false. See here, this is in capital letter. I will cut this one. See, this one here, first one is what? False. Except these two, false and true, remaining, sorry, false, true and none, sorry, okay, false, true and none. These three will start with capital letter. Remaining all other keywords, see here, remaining all other keywords starts with small letter and contain only lowercase letters or lowercase characters. You can observe here. So all things will start and contain only lowercase, except three things. What are those three? Those three are false, true, and none. So false, true, and none starts with what? Capital letter. Okay, you have to remember these three. So before in our Python, we will use maximum all what I can say keywords. So whenever we will go to a particular concept, we will see. Okay, but two or three may not may not be discussed here. Okay, like async we may not discuss, await we may not discuss. So remaining all keywords I will discuss. Okay, right. So this is about keywords. So what is the thing we have to use? Import keyword. Keyword is a module name, and next one is what? To see the keyword list, we have to use what? KW list from the keyword. So automatically we are going to get what? We are going to get keywords that are present in Python. Okay, so in previous sessions we have seen what about built-ins. Okay, now we have seen what? Keywords. Built-ins is different, keywords is different. Built-ins means what? Without having any without importing anything. Let us consider here, I have not import, for example, I have not imported anything, just I am going to use print. So automatically print is going to be used. It is going to print. How it is going to print? From where it is going to be taken? From a module called as built-ins. There is a built-ins module. That means directly your Python interpreter can take whatever the classes and whatever the things that are present in your built-ins directly. But if you want to take anything from any other module, we have to use what? In this way. So to find out the key list, that means keywords list, that is KW list is present in where? A module called as keyword. So I have to import that module and we have to see in this way. These modules are these keywords can be used directly without importing anything. But to see these keywords, I have to use KW list. Okay, see here. I want, if I am, let us consider I want to use none. Okay, A equal to none. So see here, none is not defined. Okay, sorry, capital O it is written. A equal to, for example, capital NONE. So is there any problem? Nothing is there. If I print A, it is going to print as what? Nothing it is going to print. For example, I want to take a false. A equal to FALSE. Okay. If I print A, it is going to print as what? False. No need of importing. All these keywords are also available for our interpreter directly. But to see those keywords, I have to import this keyword module. So this is about a keyword module, and these are the different type of keywords present in our Python. How many are there? 35 keywords are there. Okay, so as we are going to program from next class, that means from next class onwards we are going to see data types. So every time I have to use some functions are there. So I want to discuss about those 3 functions are there. So I will discuss about those 3 functions. Okay, so first function name is print. Basic functions. So print is used to what? Print is used to print the data or elements, any elements that we have passed to that print. That means whatever we have written inside this print, it is going to print that one. To print something to the monitor, we are going to use print. Next one is ID method. So this gives you address. This gives you address of a variable. For example, address of a variable. Just we will use these things for data types. So before going to data types, if you see these 2 functions, and also I will take one more function called as is instance. Function name is what? Is instance. So these are the functions that I am going to use to explain data types. So just remember, for data types only I am using ID and instance. Generally we will use print. So is instance means what? Whether it is instance of instance is nothing but an object. Think it as an object. So don't worry if you are unable to understand what is meant by an object also. So to know, for example, what is meant by an object, I will explain clearly. So here I will take, okay, see, first thing I am going to consider fruit. Okay, fruit is there. What are the different type of fruits? One is apple, next one is orange, for example, next one is grapes. Now if I show grapes to a student, for example, or to a person, he will say it as a what? It as a fruit. In the same way, orange is also a fruit, apple is also a fruit. That means what? All these 3 are instances of fruit, and fruit is a class. Fruit is what? A class. Okay, so that means what? These are all called as objects of or instances of fruit. Don't worry, whenever we are going for object oriented programming, you can understand clearly, but for an instance I'm explaining you. So fruit is a what? It can be considered as class. So from this class we are going to derive all these things. These are created. So what is this? Fruit. What is this? Fruit. That means what? Grapes belongs to fruit, orange belongs to fruit, apple belongs to fruit. So if I ask you what is meant by fruit, can you tell me, can you show me a fruit? You cannot show me a fruit named as fruit. You can show me what? A grapes, orange or apple. That means what? Fruit is not existed. Okay, that means what? Fruit is not existed. Only what? Objects are existed. That means objects are present but not classes. Okay, but what this fruit contains? Only some properties. That means what? If I say something as a fruit, it will have some shape, it will have some taste, it will have some color. Those are the properties of fruit. So if I ask you what is meant by orange, you are telling it as a fruit. Why you are calling it as a fruit? It is having some color, it is having some taste, it is having some shape. For example, in the same way, grapes. So that means what? Whatever the properties that a class called as fruit, the same properties are present with these objects. So we can call those things as what? Fruits. Okay, right. Don't worry about all these things. This same concept will be discussed in our object oriented programming clearly. So is instance means what? It will tell whether it is the instance of the particular class or not. Okay, it is used to check the object belongs to a particular class. Okay, so these are the three functions you have to understand. Okay, right, I will show you these things. First, I want to show you about print statement. Already we know about print statement, so no need of seeing this one. I want to show you about ID. So ID gives you what? Address. Okay, so here I am going to write A equal to 20. Okay, next B equal to 30. So when I'm going to create A and B, internally some memory will be allocated for these two things. Sir, I want to see that address. Just write down ID of A. Okay, what is it? It is some number. No need of remembering these numbers. Just what? Just we have to check the address. Okay, ID of B. So these two are different. So I'm going to tell one point, and I will discuss when I'm discussing about data types. That is, if both A and B are going to have same value, for example, A equal to 10, B equal to 10. Now you observe these two. When A value is different, B value is different, addresses are also different. But when A value is and A value and B value is same, now see here, what is the value we are having? 1632, some 9296 is there. If I see the address of B also, you can see same thing. Okay, don't worry, this concept will be discussed, but just now you have to understand what ID gives you the address of the variable. So already you know about print. Okay, right. Next one is what? Is instance. Is instance gives you what? It is going to tell us whether that object belongs to our what I can say class or not. So as we don't know about classes now, we will see this method later directly when we are going to see in data types. So see here, for okay, I will show you, no problem. Type also is there. Type of A. So what is the type of A here? A is which type? Which value is going to be stored here? 10 is the value that is going to be stored in A. Okay. So type of A is what? Int. If I'm going to take B equal to 12.5. So it is what? I want to see the type of B. What is the type of B? It is floating point number. So you can get what? Float. In the same way, I'm going to take C equal to some, for example, Shiva. So here, what is the type of C? It is string, str. So now what I want to check, whether these are, whether it is a string or not. Okay, whether it is a number or not, I will check. Okay, see here, right? I'm checking what is the method name is what? Is instance. So it's going to return something, so that I will take here is instance. What I want to check is instance. First one is C. I want to check about C, comma str. Okay, just it is going to return me what? True or false. So just if I print X, it is going to print true. Directly, let us take directly this one, C and V. Okay, see here, that means what? I am asking whether C is string or not. Is C is instance of str or not? Is C is str type or not? Yes. For example, is instance of, I want to check about A. Is A is which type here? You can observe here, A is which type? Int type. A is which type? Int type. But I'm asking, is A is string or not? Is A is string? No, it is not a string. So automatically you are going to get what? False. If I check A as a true, is A is int or not? Yes. So it is going to give you what? True. So here we have seen 4 different type of functions. Okay. First one is what? Print, which is used to print on the monitor or a screen. Next one is what? ID, to see the address of the object or some variable. For now, just think that variable. When I start data types, you can understand what is meant by object. Okay. Next, third one is type. That means if you want to know the type of a variable, then I have to go for a function called as type. And last one is what? Is instance. Is instance tells you whether the given object is belongs to particular class or not. So type says what? type of a variable. It gives you type of a variable. So these are the basic functions we should know before going to our data types. Okay, thank you.